This episode is brought to you by Espolón Tequila. Slow, sticky, snoozy. They call these the dog days of summer. But Espolón? They don't do boring. Welcome to the Marg Days. Espolón Tequila. 100% blue Weber agave, born to shake up your summer. Just add lime, agave, and a little attitude. Visit espolontequila.com. Espolón Tequila, 40% alcohol, volume 80 proof. Copyright 2025, Campari America, New York, New York. Drink responsibly.
Hello, I'm Diane Morgan. If you know who I am, you know who I am. If you don't, who cares? I'm here to explain Italian Time, a holiday phenomenon where Italians throw away their clocks and gather for eternity with San Pellegrino. I've been at this party so long that I've eaten 5 courses, hugged someone's grandma twice, and been offered a job in the family restaurant. So this holiday season, make sure to bring enough San Pellegrino to last you through the meal, the after meal, and the entire goodbye ritual. San Pellegrino, holiday on Italian Time.
Hello, my name is Damon Friedman, co-founder and president of SOF Missions. As a 20-year veteran within Special Operations, I've gone through many challenges due to my military service and time in combat. We felt called to start SOF Missions to serve our fellow brothers and sisters in arms, focusing on suicide prevention and resiliency. Our mission at SOF Missions is to empower warriors to find purpose and be resilient. Since 2011, when we started the organization, almost 3 million men and women have deployed to Iraq and Afghanistan. Unfortunately, the scars of war take a toll on their psychological, physical, social, and spiritual health. Many veterans feel a sense of hopelessness and a loss of purpose when they return to civilian life. They feel isolated and alone, unable to reconnect. And in the greatest of tragedies, over 20 veterans lose all hope and take their own lives. Our goal at SOF Missions is to provide veterans the tools and resources so that they don't become a statistic. We offer a unique approach to combating veteran suicide through a whole health, intradisciplinary model. The Be Resilient program is a 4-pillar methodology that addresses the areas of psychological, physical, social, and spiritual wellness. We provide care through 3 delivery methods: medical clinics, retreats, and educational training. Since we started back in 2011, we have been able to reach veterans in all 50 states and have served over 3,000 veterans through the Be Resilient program. Being resilient is a multifaceted and complex issue. We know that to find a lasting solution, we have to address the whole warrior. Many challenges cannot be solved by providing the treatments and modalities of just one component, but by tackling them all. Now, we've expanded our services to include law enforcement and first responders. Together, we can make a lasting impact in the lives of warriors across the nation. To learn more, visit our website at sofmissions.org.
All right. Welcome back.
Misfit Nation. The Misfit Nation Show.
We are a show founded by a veteran and hosted by 2 veterans and a military spouse. Our mission is to get people to tell their stories to the world. If you're an author, share your tips with the Misfit Nation. If you're a musician or an actor, our audience needs to know how they too can get into the business. Coaches, we love our coaches. Come on and share your tips with the Misfit Nation to help them become better versions of themselves. If you are a corporate leader or an entrepreneur, come on and show how you did it and how hard you have fought for success. If you are a veteran, first responder, or Gold Star family, we would love to have you come on and share your story with the Misfit Nation. We always have time for you. If you're feeling down, alone, or starting to see the darkness, stop. Think about those who are around you. You are not alone. You will be missed. If you feel like your problems will be a burden to those in your inner circle or feel embarrassed, dial 988. If you are a veteran, take option 1. We need you to keep pushing forward. Don't make a permanent solution to a temporary problem. If you are a new listener, welcome to the Misfit Nation Show. Be sure to subscribe to our show on your favorite podcast app. Also on our YouTube channel at @the_Misfit Nation. Subscribe and click the bell to keep you up to date on our latest episodes and all of our news. You can also find us on Heroes Media Group and About Face Radio. Now, let's get to the show!
All right. Welcome back to the Misfit Nation Show. It's your Thursday after dinner edition. We thank you for joining us tonight. We know you could be doing other things, watching football, hanging out with your family, but you choose to ride with us. And we thank you for collecting your frequent flyer miles with the Misfit Nation tonight. Tonight, we have no bad news to announce, so this is a good night. This is one of those nights we love to get into and not have to spread badness and just go right to the good. So tonight, we have a great guest. She brings a wealth of training and experience to help you compassionately and wholeheartedly lead yourself and create that life that works and feels right for you. A life where you experience less stress and more patience, kindness, and peace. A life where you experience more contentment and joy. So without further ado, let's welcome Arlene Cohen Miller to the Misfit Nation Show. Welcome, Arlene.
Oh, thank you for having me here. I'm very honored.
It's great to have you here in this world where we can just connect via the interwebs and act like we're in the same studio together and talk to each other. This is awesome. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
So Arlene, I just gave basically the elevator pitch about you right there. If you don't mind, please share a little more about yourself from as far back as you want to go to how we got here with the Misfit Nation.
Well, I grew up in a regular family, in Louisville, Kentucky. Mother was a stay-at-home mom, and my father had his own business. He sold popcorn and cotton candy and all those concessions to movie theaters and schools, which I thought was awesome as a kid.
Yes.
And and so we got to go to see all free movies when I was growing up. I never knew how to pay for a movie till I was an adult. And when I was about 15, I decided, and I just made an announcement to my parents that I was going to be an attorney when I grew up. A complete shock to them. I was the first one in the family. I just sort of got this feeling that this was what I was supposed to do. I knew that I wanted to be kind of an independent woman. And I also knew that I wanted to help people. And I thought, well, this is something I can do, more of a studious kind of person. um, I don't know, I just got this download and this is what I was supposed to do. So I did go to college, I did go to law school, I practiced law as a solo practitioner and as also a partner in a small law firm for about 31 years. And during that time, I got a diploma in coaching and mentoring and transformational holistic counseling and learned how to be a meditation facilitator because in the practice of law, we're not really taught, how to listen to other people. We're taught how to fight and win. And it just felt like it would be a really good idea to be able to listen. And I was doing a lot of the marketing, I was doing a lot of the negotiating with people to settle cases. And I just felt like I need to be a better listener, and also for my son and for my partner, and just all around in life, and just know how to ask questions and have more of a discourse with people and not be so in my head. And all that's all why I also got a diploma in the counseling. I knew I couldn't, I got it from Australia. I knew I couldn't use it here in the United States, but I felt this was going to give me the tools and skills I needed to help people as well. And the meditation was just because I guess been more of a high strung person. I've always been pretty athletic, and it just felt that knowing how to breathe and relax and release and let go was really important for me and for everyone that I interacted with. Sold the business about 9 years ago, and now I'm doing the coaching and the mentoring and kind of the facilitating stuff well, not full time, more like three-fourths time, because I did the full time for like 31 years and I'm like, I don't want to do that anymore.
Understand that. Understand it's time for you to maybe step back and be able to breathe a little bit and relax and enjoy
Yes.
what life has for you now with your grandchildren and your children being closer to you out there, and enjoy their I guess their every event they can do or their milestones as they grow up as well.
Yeah, that is a pleasure.
And working 3/4 of the time gives you that flexibility definitely to do that. And
Yeah,
I'm
because
sure.
as an attorney, you really don't, because I've always done my own businesses since I was 29, and you go on a vacation or you go to a business trip and it's all still there. You just can't leave it. So yeah, I did it a long time and I just felt like I needed a change.
Yeah, I think a lot of society now has a hard time without the ability to shut off, because everyone is always turned on because they have their device in their hand or their pocket or it's in their ear, and they don't know how to turn it off. And like you said, as an attorney, you always were on because you had to go through briefs and understand what you're going to say in court or how you're going to write things up. Now everything's coming at everyone so fast now. How do you coach people to maybe turn themselves off now?
Well, I think our phones and our computers are addictive, so we have to find ways to walk away. And I guess from my own experience, I used not to listen to like my own inner voice saying, "We've done X, Y, and Z, Arlene. We're tired. We need to take a break." And I would just sort of keep on plowing through. And I think we need to coach ourselves and give ourselves permission to take breaks. And a break without I think it's really healthy to get away from our computers and our cell phones and not be attached to them. The world doesn't come to an end if we're not on them. And I find personally, I mean, I live out in Colorado in the foothills of the Rocky Mountains, but there's so many beautiful places. I know you're in Tennessee, you said, I think,
Yes,
and I grew up in Kentucky. It's beautiful places in this country, all over the place. And when we get out in nature, and do anything, even just appreciate what's around us or take a hike or walk your dog and just, switch that other side off for a while. It's going to be there when we come back. That's just such a simple thing that we can do, like to release, relax, and soften and let go.
definitely. I remember as a kid, yeah, people would leave their TVs on thinking that if they left it on, the show they were watching would still be on when they came home, so they wouldn't miss any, say, Gilligan's Island or something. Not realizing that it just shuts off anyway. The next show comes on, but they didn't want to miss anything, so they'd keep it on. And now it's you're just on all the time. And I like you said, the addiction is real with the screen. The addiction is real, and being able to put it down every once in a while, even for a few hours, will really help your mind, your body, and your soul, I believe.
I believe so too. It's really nurturing and healing. To me, Mother Nature feels like this beautiful, nurturing, supportive energy, you don't have to do that much. It doesn't have to be a long time if you have a lot of responsibilities. There's a way. There's always a way we can make things happen.
Right. You definitely, yes. And things I used to, when early in my career, before the internet was big in my career, I used to tell my boss, if you don't give me something by 3 o'clock, I'm not doing it today. Because if you could wait till 3 today, it could wait till tomorrow for me to get it done. I used to get a lot of, clap back from him, but that was just my mentality. If you didn't give it to me before 3 o'clock, that means it wasn't important to you today. It's important tomorrow, so we can do it tomorrow. And he hated when I would say that to him and just walk out. And I mean, we didn't get along very well for a long time. So, but that was my way of getting back at him for a lot of things, because that's how he always would do things. End of day stuff, and
Right.
do it now. No, you had this all day and waited till now. I'll do it tomorrow. And
And yeah, and that
kind of
sort of
practice
reminds me. Oh, sorry, I'm sorry. I didn't
It's
mean
okay. It's
to
okay.
interrupt you.
Go ahead.
There's this great book that I just love that has been really helpful with me with time management. I know that this show is so much more than that, but it's called Eat That Frog by Brian Tracy, and he talks about whatever you have to do that day, just eat the biggest, ugliest frog you have to do and get that done first. And everything else in life is icing on the cake. And you acknowledge yourself, you celebrate that success. And then that helps to let go of a lot of stress because often what we do is we do all the little small things that don't really matter first. And that other thing that's really pressing on us that we just don't want to do for some reason is always there gnawing at the back in the background. So I think that's some of the best advice I've ever gotten in my life. Just get that thing done and you can take a deep breath and everything else is icing on the cake.
Definitely is. And like, you're definitely right. Everyone always goes for those ankle biters first, the small things. And that big picture item is still sitting there right in front of you. And you don't want to touch it because maybe it's going to take too much of the time you think you have, but you're spending all that time on those ankle biters and just wasting a lot of time doing those instead of just killing the big project. And then you can go back
Yeah,
to those little ones later.
yeah,
I
yeah.
have that
So,
book pulled up, so I can buy that later.
yeah, it's a really thin book, and it's not really. I mean, I just think it was brilliant. I mean, there's all sorts of other things of how you can take care of your time, and there's so much more to taking care of our health than just being organized. But it does help to not let things go until and procrastinate because that does cause stress.
It definitely does cause stress. And I know one of your big things is gratitude as well. And
Yeah.
we have all this work stuff and all the things we have to do and all the things going on, but sometimes you just got to stop and think about the things that you're grateful for and what you get to do every day. I tell people, if you have a job you love, you get to go to work. But if you have a job you hate, you got to go to work. How does gratitude work into everyone's life now?
Well, I just feel like one of the mistakes that everybody makes, well, not everybody, a lot of people make is that they're waiting for something to be grateful for. And that's what you were talking about, I guess, before we got on the air today, is all the blessings we have in our life. You're talking about your adopted granddaughter, and that she has a mouth, but I can tell you love her and you're doting on her and you're grateful that she's in your life. There's all these things that we can be grateful for. We have food in the fridge, we have a comfortable bed to sleep in. Um, all those things that we just take for granted. And when we're truly grateful, and the important thing with gratitude is lots of times people will make lists and it's like from the head. That doesn't count. We have to really feel it to the best of our ability. Thank you, truly thank you for whatever we're grateful for. And I know that we just have so much to be grateful for in this country. Even if it's a little bit noisy and crazy at times, we have so much to be thankful for.
Definitely. If you don't think we have a lot of stuff here, go somewhere else and just look out from there to what we have, and you'll understand that you don't have it that bad here in America. Yes, some people are having hard times, of course. I'm not going to downplay that, but we do have a lot of things here that others can chip in and help you with, and where in other countries it's just not there. And you
Right.
you don't know how good you have it until you don't have it.
And there's one other thing I wanted to add that's really helpful for people is I was looking for a study that, when they actually did an actual study about the effects of gratitude, and I found one. And because some people like statistics and stuff, that's not my deal, but it's important to some people. And they did this study with three groups of people. One of the study groups, they just wrote down like a couple nights a week or even every night, just the mundane things that happen in life. I went to school, drove my truck to here or whatever it was. Another group, it was like their complain and moan journal. So they just wrote down everything they were upset about. And the third group, twice a week, they could do it more if they wanted to, just wrote down a few things at the end of the day before they went to sleep that they were truly grateful for. And after 6 weeks in this independent study, they found that the people that wrote down two things before they went to bed had like a 25% increase in happiness. I'm not sure how they calibrated that, but I thought, now that's something that's really interesting. And 2 days a week, you write a few things before you go to bed about what you're grateful for. I mean,
Right.
almost anyone can do that.
Definitely. And it's something we say here on the show. I'm not sure if you watched the show before or how many episodes you've seen. We always talk about stacking victories here. So every day, count how many things go good and leave that number in your head, because every day something's going to go wrong. I don't care who you are. Something's going to go wrong. It's not going to work out right. But there's a lot of things that go right. So if today you get 10 things right, tomorrow shoot for 11 and count the things that go well, and the things that don't go well, just learn from them. Don't dwell on them. Learn from them and move on. And then you'll feel better the next day. And I think it's been helping a lot of people along our way now on our journeys.
Yeah, and what I like to add to that is that we often overlook the little small things. You might have a 30-second conversation with someone where it just touches you, or it's just a lovely experience. And I know I'm talking in female words, but anyway, you get the idea. And it's a lot of little things will happen. I mean, just pay attention to your day because it might be you're walking your dog or there's a rainbow. Who knows? But whatever it is, or you get to ride your motorcycle. I have a lot of friends who have motorcycles, and whatever it is, take a moment and really acknowledge how great that feels, and find a way to celebrate it. But a lots of times it's teeny tiny little things that we just don't even pay attention to.
Exactly. Or things that, like we just talked about a couple of minutes ago, you take for granted that they'll always be there. That looking up at someone's eyes and smiling and saying hello, you don't know how much that makes that person's day, because you don't know what that person's going through. And it might be the thing that keeps them with us tomorrow because you just made them happy. And hey, someone actually liked me today. I'm going to keep moving forward. And
Yeah.
we don't know how that much it helps people.
Yeah, those simple heart connections that don't hardly take any of your time at all, and just getting out of your own way and not being self-absorbed for a minute can make a huge difference in somebody's life.
And how do your clients, especially, and then of course the Misfit Nation, how do they learn to use gratitude to equal into that work-life balance or harmony?
Well, I think practice makes permanent, you know, if you just can't say I'm going to do it once and your life is going to be different. It's sort of like, okay, I'm going to give this a go. I'm going to play with it. I think it's nice to do things in groups, maybe have an accountability buddy, or I always feel like we're better when we come together. So, you know, even if you had a group that met once a week on Zoom and everyone shared what they were grateful for or whatever, you know, just to have sounding boards, you know, that we have and not, um, I just have found out in my life that it doesn't work to be a lone wolf anymore. It just doesn't. We need other people. And I know you feel that way because of your background and you've had all those experiences, but we can find them here in the US as well. And you know, whatever you need to do to, it doesn't have to necessarily be a gratitude group. It just can be a group of people that love to do the same thing together. You know, that you're going to be grateful for anyway. You don't have to go blah 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 about it. It's having those experiences and you know, finding ways to sort of connect with other people so you know they're having those experiences too and we can celebrate them and they can celebrate us.
Definitely, I think everyone needs that close tribe around them, kind of like an accountability group, to make sure we're on the right path and to keep us in check if we are doing outside of what we're supposed to be doing, and of course, be there for us to raise us up and to bring us back down to reality when we get too high, so that they're always there and we're there for them as well. So if something's going wrong or you even think about them, you text them, "Hey, are you all right?" That way they know you're thinking about them and vice versa. And it comes back to us all that way. And that's something when I was in Afghanistan, you learned about the tribal life there. So, and then I read the book by Sebastian Younger, The Tribe. And that book is amazing. And it brought it all to light. It was after I got home and out of the military, I read that book. I said, I wish I read this while I was there, but he was writing it while I was there. So wouldn't have helped. But he learned all the same things while I was there about how they lived and how they worked with each other to make sure that everyone was having that nice harmonic life and living together along with that tribal life. It's amazing how they do it.
Cool.
So I was reading a question on your site here about negotiating from the heart with executive presence. What does that mean?
Well, I've done that for years and I think with the coaching and the counseling and the meditation stuff. And I just had this inspiration like in November of 2024, and I'm just sort of beginning to put it all together so I can actually get out there and help people in businesses, probably law firms and tech companies. There's a lot of tension and stress there. Is that um, well, I think a lot of negotiations, the way I learned in law school, was very kind of male oriented. It was from that masculine side, but I believe that what we need to do is like bring the masculine and the feminine together, to go out there, to have wins and have experiences, but also to bring what women bring, that feminine bit, that relationship bit, that connecting. And so that executive presence, what I feel it is, it's like when you feel in your body and like you're really grounded and fully present, like your feet are on the ground and they're like rooted into the heart of the planet and you're really there and your senses are all aware, but you can still feel your heartbeat and you can still feel yourself breathing and it's like a really super aware expanded presence so that um I'm not keeping my heart to myself. I'm sharing that compassion with other people, not in a way that is overflowy or gushy, but in a way that people can just sort of relax and be more of themselves. And when we hold that presence for other people, which is completely non-judgmental and is like a really caring space, people, and we're not interrupting them, and we're actively listening without thinking about what we're going to say when they say, so that we really hear them. And I know that you know how to do this for some reason. I can tell you do. People feel heard and people feel understood. And so when you bring that kind of executive presence, that negotiating style to the table, you're much more likely to find connection, to find things that you have in common so that at least in some areas you can have resolution. And I mean, law school, I really wasn't taught that. You were like taught to win. And that just doesn't cover the bases for people. You know, there's so much more than quote winning. And a lot of people, like you're talking about in your intro. They feel lost. If they feel really stressed out, and to be with someone that can do this for them and to learn how to do this for themselves and others, I feel could really help to change things.
Definitely will. And I learned, I guess, halfway through my leadership journey in the military to listen to hear, not to speak. And I made that my mantra: just sit there and listen, and just learn what people are saying, and don't try to argue their point or argue against their point. Try to see, like you said, find that calming ground. Like you also said earlier about all the noise in our country right now. We all want the same thing. We want a great country. We want our kids to have a great future. We want our grandkids to have a great future. We may not wear the same hat when we go to the election to the polls, but we all want the same thing. Why can't we sit down, have a coffee, and talk about it, and maybe correct our communities and make that grow? And that's I think something that would help everyone to learn that you don't have to argue it. You can just talk, and you're
Yeah.
going to find out you all want the same things. It's just trying to different approaches at it.
Yeah, and one of the things I think that where they made a mistake is that it used to be that everyone had to live in Washington. That mean that people from all sides would have cookouts together, their kids would go to school together, so they had to get along together. And it wasn't possible to have this kind of division because these people were your friends. You might not agree with them, but your kids, they were friends. And so I think it's really a shame that they stopped that because it really brought people in connection in a way that, yes, we might disagree, but it's not going to affect our relationship.
Exactly. And I think there was in some movies that they would show them arguing on the floor and then saying, "Oh, I can't be mad at him forever. I got to go to dinner with him tonight with his family."
Yeah,
Chalking off for people. Well, they argue all day and then they go out and drink beer together and just laugh about stuff because they're both trying to get
yeah,
the same thing, just trying to keep their party harmony. And it's just funny how that works and how it has not worked now because, like you said, they don't see each other anymore. So once they leave the halls, it's over. We do have a question from Jake Holland, our Tuesday crew host. How did your life experience as a lawyer prepare you for what you're doing now? Are there any similarities? Thanks, Jake.
well, I really feel like the lawyer bit helped me develop the more organized part of my brain because I can tend, I have a little bit of ADHD and I can be all over the place. But it helped me to be organized. It helped me to help people in a way that was very structured. And all the other stuff with the negotiating and the mentoring stuff I know and the coaching and the meditation, it kind of brought things together so they could be harmonized so that the right and the left side of the brain could get to know each other and work together. And that I have now the ability to like to bring to people in business because I've had my own business, that structure, but I can also bring those kind of things like negotiating from the heart and meditation and active listening and all those things that I learned as a coach and just in life period growing up and having things happen as we all do. um, I don't think anything is in isolation. I always hope that all of us, all of our experiences add into a plus for who we are and what we're doing now.
Definitely. I agree 100% that everything we do works towards one thing to what we want to be and where our purpose is, our purpose driven life. And like for me now, my purpose is to help others, mentor others, and through the show, maybe keep people with us a little longer. And that's our purpose with the Misfit Nation. And my purpose outside is servant leadership and being out there and helping, just helping others and mentoring and coaching and doing what I can to maybe shine a light that I thought wasn't there when I was a kid, but it actually was there because I just wasn't paying attention.
Yeah,
And
that's
I think that
awesome.
happened to a lot of us when we were kids. We didn't pay attention because we knew it all. So I think that we do have another question popped in here. I didn't paste it yet because I was listening to you. I was trying to get everything at once here. This is from Nan. Get it in here so you can see it too. Jake says thank you.
You're welcome, Jake. My pleasure.
This is from Nan DeLeon and Far. What inspired you to create Jewel Consultancy and focus on work-life harmony? Thanks,
Oh, well,
Nan.
thank you for, well, thank you for that question. Well, Jewel, I love, I just can't, it just popped in my head to call it
Oh,
Jewel because Jewel is like, it's a different sides of the diamond. And so we have different aspects in our life. They're all important. They all are, I have, I'm a mother, I'm a grandmother, I'm an attorney, I'm a coach. We have all these gifts and they're all important. They're all different sides of the jewel. And so that's where the jewel consultancy came in. And now the other part of the question just left me. Oh, yeah, why do I do what I do?
Right.
Well, um, when I was 29, I started my first solo practice law firm. I had moved with my ex-husband from Louisville, Kentucky, up to a suburb of Cleveland, Ohio. And I had worked for attorney in a small firm for about 3.5 years and decided to go out on my own, and I opened an office, like in a storefront office in Lakewood, Ohio. There's two other attorneys, an employment agency, and this guy that used to be a pastor that was now selling collection packages to help businesses collect their debts. We were all kind of eclectic. And a month after I started my business, I didn't know what the heck I was doing, by the way. I just like, my dad did it, I can do it. I don't know.
There it is.
And I still didn't know what I was doing. And a month after I started my business, put up my shingle, I found out I was pregnant. So all of my family and all my ex's family were in Louisville, Kentucky, 6 hours away. All of my colleagues from law school were the same. So I had to form my own tribe. There weren't coaches back then. There were like counselors and psychologists, and I really didn't need that. I needed a coach. So I ended up finding my own tribe, and it was an interesting process. It's like, the first 3 years, I don't think I felt I was always tired, but it was a really interesting experience, and it gave me a lot of empathy and compassion for people that just had to jump into cold water and figure out how to work things out. And so that's how I got started with all of this.
That's outstanding. I like that you said that your dad can do it, so you can do it. So that just shows that the respect you had for what he did, and you knew what the work he put in anyway. But you didn't think it was that hard probably at first to get a business up and running and do all the stuff that goes on behind the curtain. And that's something that a lot of people fail to realize going into business, that there's a lot more than just opening the door and saying, "Hey, we're open, let's do this." There's a whole thing
Yeah,
that goes on behind the curtain.
yeah. I don't think I really knew that till I started my own business, but I did see him work really hard. And I guess what I really got from him was he didn't have that many employees. He had like two truck drivers. He had a lady that came in and popped popcorn and a secretary. But he was really kind. Oh, he had a salesman, and he was really kind and generous to them. He had rules. He needed to do this, but the compassion and the kindness that he held for them really just stuck with me the rest of my life, all of my life, really. And I didn't get it at the time. I didn't really understand it until I sort of started my own company.
That's understandable, yeah. Because until you're in those shoes, it's hard to understand that. I like that you said that actually they popped, one lady popped the popcorn. So she had, that's my favorite part of the movie theater is the popcorn. So she's a hero to me. So
I loved to go to his business on those days because the whole place smelled of popcorn. And if I asked him really, really nice, we'd bring home this huge bag of popcorn for the family that was
nice.
freshly popped. So, yeah, one of my favorite childhood memories.
That's an awesome memory to have. Because movie theater popcorn, especially when we were growing up, is a lot better than it is now. Now it's okay now. Depends on where you go, I guess. You got to hit it at the right time, depending on what kid is making it. We call them kids now because they're us, but years before us. Don't want to age ourselves too much. uh, how do you, like we were talking earlier about going through the ebbs and flows of the day? When you start to get irritable and cranky, how do we reset that and recharge our batteries?
Well, I think it's important to recognize that that's happening and maybe make plans, you know, before the day starts of when you're going to have a timeout. I mean, I used to be a runner and sort of injured myself, and now I have like a sort of a strenuous yoga practice. But a lot of my friends do weights, or I feel like being physically active and having that release really helps to let go of stress. And I really recommend having that planned out in your day so I'm going to have this chunk of time, and then I'm going to go do something that's for me, or however it works for you in your schedule. And even if it's 15 or 20 minutes, if we do these things proactively, then we're not going to get in a place that we feel like we're flat on the floor. And if we start to feel flat on the floor, it's time to take a break. I mean, sometimes I even do my own little rituals. If I go out and I find like I'm in a crowded place where the energy just feels really toxic, and by the time I come home, I feel kind of ugh, I'll just take a hot shower. I'm like, wash off my day. I mean, literally, wash off the day, put on a new set of clothes, take a breath, and go, we're starting again.
Starting fresh. So that's the refresh button. Yeah, definitely. That's awesome. We got 2 questions popped in back to back as you were saying that. So I'll go here to the first one. This is from Does Things Too. What are the 3 keys to transforming stress into serenity, and how can listeners apply them today? Thank you. Does Things Too.
Hey, did you go to my website and look at one of my articles? I'm not even remembering exactly what I wrote back then,
That's what I add.
but
I add all this into the pre-show stuff. So if they read it, they hit. They go.
okay. Oh, well, thank you. I'm like, how did you know that? So, I mean, I don't think there's any 3 ways for any people, any one person. For me personally, one way to turn stress into serenity is to be proactive. So, certain kinds of breath work that we can do are really, really simple. And they take us from fight or flight to rest or relax mode. So if we're really aware of how we're breathing, if we're just breathing really shallow up here, it tells us we're in fight or flight, and our whole body will respond accordingly. So we need to help ourselves just to relax and let go. And one simple, really way to do this is just to breathe in through the nose and out through the nose. The out breath is longer than the in breath, and just until you begin to calm down. And maybe it might be 5 minutes, and then you'll stop and go, okay, do I feel any different now? One other simple breath that we can do is just like going like this. And just letting everything go. I know it sounds stupid, but it actually works because you can feel yourself letting go, especially if you do it with a couple of friends. Y'all can laugh while you're doing it too. Other ways to turn stress into serenity, there is physical exercise. There is a feeling, I always believe that I talked about this before, we're better together. You know, if we don't want to come together and complain about everything, that's just going to cause us to take a deep dive. But if we come together with people that have something that we all like to do, like when I was younger and I ran, I bring my kid to an athletic club, so would a couple of my girlfriends and my guy friends, and we'd all go out for a run together. We'd talk and jabber the whole time, and it was like the button to release everything. So, I mean, some people like music or dancing, whatever floats your boat, find ways to fit that into your schedule. Even if you're a stay-at-home mother, you can put on music that you and all the kids can dance to. There are things that you can do to de-stress, and it's important to always find ways to make a little bit of time for yourself. So I don't know if that was 3, but that was just came there to share with you.
Definitely have to have that alone time during the day that helps you refresh too. I think just to step away from things and kind of maybe do a yell breathe or box breathe or something at that point to let yourself calm down and come back to it. For me, I do box breathing at night now to kind of recharge and let myself relax and then fall asleep. I fall asleep a lot quicker with the box breathing now. Uh, I think they call it tactical breathing. Some of the special operators use that a lot too for combat breathing. They use box breathing just to calm themselves and let them relax. And I do it before bed now to help me out.
Oh, it's a great. There are so many different kinds of breathing. I mean, you can look on YouTube and there's, find lots of stuff, and whatever resonates with you. The box breathing is excellent.
I love it, and it's helping me. We got another question, so let's jump in here before they leave us. Who is out there? Who is that there? 98. How do you balance your background as both an attorney and a meditation facilitator in your coaching work?
I don't know if I don't I started being a work-life balance coach. I'm like, it just reminded me of the scales of justice, and when do we ever find balance? I think what we really need is to be flexible and adaptable. So that's why I became like a work-life harmony and leadership coach, because I knew I could bring more harmony to people, but balancing our lives, I don't know. And I know people always ask me questions. How can you go from being an attorney to a meditation facilitator and a coach? And I don't know, we've all had lots of hats in our lives. And it just really amazes me that people think that I can't go from one thing to the other, that they have to be mutually exclusive. And so I just feel like what I've done is I do my best to bring all of the talents and gifts I have, and all the furballs too, because they're in there, and why not? And that's who I am, and that's what I bring, without judging that this bit should be over here and bit should be over there. I don't know why we tell ourselves that. It just doesn't make any sense to me.
I think people think that you have to be defined by a single story. So, like for you, you have to be the attorney. That's who you are, because that's what you went to school for first. And so that's who Arlene is, and people can't grasp that you can be an attorney in the day and maybe do something else at night completely different. Like for me and Jake, we train soldiers in the day, and then at night the show is about something totally different. It's two different worlds, polar opposites. So it's try to separate that work-life balance, I guess. That's work. I get to do it. I have fun, but I love to do this as well. So this is something totally different. It kind of resets me to come on here and talk to great people like yourself and the other 580 guests we've had on here to learn so much out there. There's so much out there you don't know unless you talk to people. And talking to you or learning stuff for the last 40 minutes, I've learned a lot. And we'll keep learning for the next 10, 15.
Well, I just want to say something that those two worlds, you're they mesh together, you know? They're not exclusively different because one informs the other and the other informs the other. They have to because they're all you.
Right. And that makes one large book, like kind of like a one library within you.
Yeah.
Definitely. When you teach meditation, do you tell people at certain times to do it, or tell them to maybe pick a time during the day where it'll fit in the best for them?
I sort of find out what they're like first because when I first started meditation, there was no way I could sit still to do it. But I could go outside and I could breathe and I could walk slow and I could enjoy the beauty of nature around me and find a way to relax. There was a Buddhist monk, Thich Nhat Hanh. He came to Boulder, Colorado, down the road from me, I don't know, about 15 years ago. And he came with all of his monks and we took this little walk through the hills of Boulder. And I thought, well, this is stupid, but I like, oh my gosh, I can meditate, I can walk. So I have to take people where they're at, and you have to take yourself where you're at. There's no way some people can just sit there and close their eyes and meditate and breathe the way they think it should be. There's so many different ways. I just think that you need to find a time that works for you. I like really, really early in the morning when the world is quiet because late at night I'm too tired to fall asleep if I do it then. So you have to know yourself, and I don't think there's any one way, but it's just something you wanna stick with until you begin to get some results. And you can start with 5 minutes. It doesn't have to be a really long time to begin to make a difference in your life.
I know people that they'll get to their office and that'll be the first thing they do is they'll meditate as soon as they get there, just to get their day going the right way. That's how they get their day going. And then there's people at their lunchtime. That's when they do it, just to recharge after whatever meetings or whatever stuff they have to do in the morning. So there's different times that work for different people. And I just want to see if where you tell people to do it, or but I like that you said you meet them where they are, and that's the best thing to do.
Well, you know what? I don't like people telling me what to do. It doesn't go over well. So I do my best not to do that with other people.
That's a good plan. Most of us, and most of the people in the audience have been told what to do so much in their lives because being military or first responders, they're so used to it. So that if someone tells us to do something, we usually yes sir, yes ma'am, and do it best we can. But then we try to find our own way around it or our own skills to make it better for us.
Yeah, I'm not making it good or bad. I'm just that's just the
Yeah.
way. Anyway.
We got another one in here from single again. Oh no. What's one practical step someone can take right now to bring more clarity and calm into their leadership?
Clarity and commentary. I think that we just have to stop judging ourselves. I
Okay.
think we're really hard on ourselves and we have a lot of expectations, which are judgments. And if we drop those judgments and expectations and really feel into, what's the next step forward, and maybe just have a time during the day, maybe we've done some breath work, or I do better in the morning or like after yoga, not late at night. Don't ask me to write anything up late at night, and that's when and you just like set it up. I just like, okay, upstairs, please let's use me as a channel that I can learn, I can write things out that I can use to help people with or whatever I'm involved with. And that's how I do it. So I think what gets in the way is judging ourselves, comparing ourselves to others, and having expectations of ourselves, which are judgments. So if we can just find a way to begin to let that go and not be so hard on ourselves, and maybe just try something and see if it works. We don't have to have a 5 year plan. If we take one step and then breathe and see how it feels and works, and then we can take another step. It doesn't have to be some big monumental thing.
It doesn't have to be a big checklist thing that you have to do. You can take that first step and do something. If your goal is to get to the gym, maybe tomorrow, go to the gym, drive there. The next day, drive there, walk in, go to the locker room until you feel comfortable enough to do it, and make it till it's a habit. So you go there. So 21 days of doing that, maybe you'll get in the door and push some weights, and then you'll love it, and you'll never leave it, and you'll keep spending money at the gym until you're done with that as well. So that's a fun thing people do. Now, we've talked about people taking care of themselves here and finding that work-life harmony, negotiating from the heart. What do you tell people that feel like they're being selfish by taking care of themselves?
I get this question a lot, and I love it because I think a lot of people are made to feel selfish if they do things for themselves. And the way I explain it is this: if we're giving from an empty cup, because we're giving and giving and giving, we're not giving back to ourselves. We're going to get frustrated, angry, lash out at someone, feel guilty, and repeat the cycle all over again. So we have to find ways to fill ourselves up with self-care and self-love. And the people in our lives are going to appreciate us more because we're going to be in a better mood, and we're going to be more willing to give because we're doing things for ourselves. So I don't know how this got started in society because it's a total falsehood. It doesn't even make any sense when you sort of hear me sort of explain what happens. How can we possibly give back from an empty cup? It doesn't make sense. And whoever started that was just not kind.
That was selfish. Yes.
That was selfish.
Yes, that was the selfish attack right there. Those are all great answers, great questions. Misfit Nation, thank you for the questions you're sending in tonight. And Arlene, thank you for fielding all these questions that they're sending in. And hopefully I'm not fumbling their questions enough to mess them up bad. But thank you for being good with that stuff. As a facilitator of meditation, what's some simple practices the Misfit Nation can actually start maybe tomorrow to get involved with it, or even tonight?
Well, a really simple practice is just relaxing your body. So you can lie down. I have to sit up because otherwise I'll fall asleep. But maybe that's what you want to do, and you're just focusing from the top of the head to the bottom of your toes. Just some sort of breathing exercise, whether it's box breathing or what I shared or something else that works for you, and just focus on literally relaxing your body. And maybe in the shoulders or some places you're scrunching them up and you're letting them go, or you're squeezing your hands and you're letting them go. But just find a way to practice relaxing your body from the top of the head to the bottom of the toe with some breathing work. And that's something simple that anyone can do. And they have all sorts of videos to walk you through stuff like that on YouTube.
And speaking of YouTube, I've shared your YouTube in the chat along with all of your links. So Misfit Nation, if you go through the chat, you'll see all of Arlene's links in there. When the description comes out, you'll be able to see her main website, and that'll take you probably to all those as well. Hopefully I didn't mess that up too. So Arlene, how many years have you been doing the coaching side of it now, or the mentoring?
I became a certified coach in 2011, but I just did it like as a hobby while I was still a practicing attorney, and I had a kid and all that stuff. There was only so many hours in the day.
Right.
So I've been doing it, more like 3/4 time for, I don't know, like about 10 years.
Okay. And what's your biggest success story that you can share without naming a name?
Gosh, I don't know if there's one biggest success. I guess what I really, really enjoy is that I get the privilege, like you do, of working for, just in my realm, of working for a coaching school called the Global Coaching Academy, where I graduated from. So I get to help coaches in training with their triads, like a client, a coach, and a mentor for the coach. And when they're done with that, doing pro bonos, doing free coaching sessions, and mentoring them and helping them to become the best coaches they can be. And I find that is the most rewarding and fun success I could possibly have is training people that are coming up behind me.
That's outstanding, and it's something I love to do. And make the next me, I used to call it when I was in the Army. Make the person the next me, and now it's make the next leader of our country, because my time is up to be that. But I can still mold someone that can be the next great leader of our community and then our country. And I hope everyone has that mindset to make the next best person that you could possibly do. And you're doing that work as well. So that's awesome.
Thank you.
And I just had a question. I lost it. I had it written down on my page here. Oh, that's not it. Oh, here it is. Here. the inner voice. How do you quiet your inner voice and get people pushing forward?
I know what you don't do, but I can share what you do because I did what you don't do, and sometimes I still do it again. It's like telling it to shut up does not work.
It doesn't work.
It does not work. They just get louder and they keep on going blah 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 blah. And I guess we're talking about the inner critic versus the inner coach.
Right.
And oftentimes, what I found within myself and with people that I work with, that we have moments in our life where we just have, like, maybe we're really young or something happened and it wasn't doesn't necessarily had to be horrible. What we didn't have the emotional intelligence or whatever to handle it. We were just sort of, a part of us got stuck back there. Or maybe if you're like me, there was some times in your teenage years that you're like, you look back and go, oh my God, did you really do that? And then I judge this part and they sort of like get stuck. And so one of the things we can do if we're having that blah, blah, blah in our ear and it's an inner critic is I ask myself, okay, how old is this part of me? And I turn around and I give her a hug. And, maybe if she's a little girl, I go and get in my mind, some ice cream with her or something. But we have parts of ourselves that get frozen or get stuck, or we push them away because we've judged them. And if that inner critic is coming up, it's from ourselves. So we need to turn around and love a bit of ourselves. And however we do that, I just turn around and give that bit a hug. That's what works for me. Maybe you'll find out something that works for you.
Awesome. Thank you for that. And Arlene, our time is coming towards a close here. So I have two more questions for you. And I think the first one I've shared most of your contact information, but I'll ask you anyway. What's the best way for the Misfit Nation to get in contact with you if they want to just talk to you like we are, or maybe get you on their show? Because a lot of them do have shows.
Oh, okay, great. Well, if you Google Arlene Cohen Miller, I think I'm the only one out there. My business is Jewel, Jewel consultancy.com, and you can get a hold of me that way. I will have one caveat though. This is live. So because I'm a coach, I'm not an attorney anymore. I'm going to Australia on uh, October the 28th through the 18th of December. That's where all my coaching friends are and my counseling friends where I went to school. So I go there to refresh myself and get a whole different area of the world than Colorado. And so I'm open for doing podcasts or interviews, or I can still chat with you when I'm not sort of out in the outback. But if you don't get an immediate message from me, that's why, but I will get back to you.
Outstanding. And have fun in Australia. We've had a lot of good guests from Australia and New Zealand, of course, as well. So a lot of guests from there. So we've been global with our guests now. One of our guests is going there, so that's awesome. Our last question for you is, what's 3 things the Misfit Nation can start doing tomorrow to be better people?
Well, I'll share with you one of my trinities, and I always do it as a triangle so I won't forget, and that's to treat ourselves with kindness, patience, and tolerance. I always view that they sort of support each other, and they're better together, like we're better together than being a lone wolf. So it's about first and foremost treating ourselves with kindness and with patience and with tolerance. Because we're going to mess up, we're going to make mistakes. We can view them as something to beat ourselves up or an opportunity to learn and grow. And it's really up to us how we decide to do that. And if we make a mistake doing that, we can still make another choice. So, there's always another moment, but it does help if we bring that into our life.
Outstanding. Thank you. And that's in the chat as well. And it will be in the Substack that comes out probably tomorrow afternoon. We'll put the Substack out on the show. This show will be on YouTube forever and on audio come the end of December, probably. So, Arlene, thank you for hanging out with us tonight. This was outstanding. We learned a lot. I think we have a lot of tools back into our tool bag to bring us out tomorrow and maybe help us to become better humans as we go through our days.
No, thank you for having me.
Enjoy your trip to Australia. Be safe and have a great time down there through Halloween, Thanksgiving, almost to Christmas. So have a great time.
Yeah, I will. Thank you so much.
Have a great night. Misfit Nation, remember, a day tomorrow with you is 100 times better than a day without you. If you're feeling like you're becoming overwhelmed with stuff, the darkness is creeping in, stop. Think about those who are around you. They do care about you. They do love you. They want to see you. Call 988. Take option 1 if you're a veteran. If you don't want to take that option, follow the prompts. Someone will talk to you. They will get you the help you need. We need you here with us tomorrow. If you don't want to talk to them, contact us at the Misfit Nation. info@themisfitnation.com. Steven@themisfitnation.com or Jake@themisfitnation.com. We will talk with you until someone gets to your house to help you. We need you with us. Till next time, be humble, stay hungry, and keep hustling.
Thanks for checking us out and being a part of the Misfit Nation show. Don't forget to visit our website at themisfitnation.com. That's themisfitnation.com. Check out all our past episodes and get some of the great Misfit Nation gear for you and your family. As always, be humble, stay hungry, and keep hustling because we are
Misfit Nation. Misfit Nation.
The holidays mean more travel, more shopping, more time online, and more personal info in more places that could expose you more to identity theft. But LifeLock monitors millions of data points per second. If your identity is stolen, our US-based restoration specialists will fix it, guaranteed, or your money back. Don't face drained accounts, fraudulent loans, or financial losses alone. Get more holiday fun and less holiday worry with LifeLock. Save up to 40% your first year. Visit lifelock.com/podcast. Terms apply.